Good afternoon, everyone. We are glad to welcome you at our open lecture delivered by Dr. Julia Ivey. She is Executive Professor of Strategy and International Business at Northeastern University in Boston. And the most important thing for today's lecture is that she is an author of the Crafting Your Edge for Today's Job Market book, and a thought leader who first developed the concept of boutique employability as a competitive strategy. And she passionately believes that we must better assist well-educated people who face the what's next challenge. Julia, the stage is yours. It's completely yours. So.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, hi everybody. Yes, I'm Julia Ivey. Thank you so much, Radion, for introducing me, and I hope Radion will tell his story of how we met and how our job, actually our joint project, did invest in Radion own employability. But this would be a story for another time, or maybe for another lecture. So it's me, and why I am so passionate is what I am doing, because I believe that, I'm a strategy professor, right? I teach strategy and international business, which means that how companies can enter a new market. But then I ask myself, like, why only businesses? Why only businesses must have strategy if they enter a new market? None of the businesses will enter the new market if they don't have strategies. They might be okay in their own village, but if they decide to go to another village, they will have a strategy. So I combine my two PhDs, PhD in psychology, which I studied the significant choices and how people navigate them, and PhD in management strategy, how we navigate our project in a low trust versus high trust environment. And I also very much relate to this topic because I am a new local. I am one of these people who I care about. I moved to the United States in the age of 36. So it's not a student. It's much easier to move as a student. When you are just open, you become kind of local there. But I was 36. I had already established career in Belarus. I was known in Ukraine. I was known in Moscow. I was kind of like, okay. And then I'm bum, and it's a new market. So do I have to start over? Can I anyhow capitalize on who I am? Do I have to be just like adjust and forget everything what I used to be? These all questions I asked myself, and I made it. Yeah, right now I'm executive professor. I am very well established. I'm good in America and da-da-da. But I really wanted to help people who face the same challenges. It might be challenge when you move to another country, but might be also challenge when you just change a career, when you just become like fed up with your corporate job and think about the new job, or just you graduating from the college. At the same time, I'm also a small business owner in America since 2007. And I know what small businesses problems they face. They are desperately need global talents, and they don't have money to pay for global talents. And so my business was self-funded, so I didn't have any old money, which I wish I would. I am a woman, women-driven business, and I'm a widow, and I have 2 children, so I'm very much related to many different stories what they have. And my question is like, okay, I understand problems here, and I understand problems here. Is it any way I understand that these people want to be integrated in a new environment, and they want to have portfolios. They want to feel that they are welcomed here, and they can kind of try in a safe environment different new jobs. At the same time, these small businesses need them. Just like, I have to make it work. And yes, I developed this concept and published the book. You see the book, Crafting Your Edge for Today's Job Market. It's Emerald Publishing, and right now it's sold in 10 countries. So, it's just kind of overview. I'm not going to stay on this slide. It's like how 2 PhDs and everything what I was driven for these years, and I tried different concepts, how all of them came together to this idea of BH method. So BH method is not just, you know, kind of evergreen books, what you read, kind of find your way, find your mission, find your calling, etc. No, it's very established on scientific basis methodology and concept. I'm new that I'm going to present for you, for people who are in academia. Of course, if you would be just practitioners, it would be different presentation, but because you are researchers and faculty members, I structure this presentation based on my latest stream of research and how it helped me to understand what I am doing. So there are 4 streams of research, and it's again for around 10 years I'm doing this. And first I started to understand what educated migrants, what is the problem, who they are, what they have, what they don't have, what's the pain point, what's the drive, what's the motivation, what's the energy, where it's allocated. And I looked, you know, it's my first kind of search, and I used reflection, so my own story, of course, and I'll talk about this, but of course observation, meeting. I have tons of friends in different countries, and I live in the United States for 20 plus years, and so every story for me, it's a story, it's an interview. And observation, but also we are planning to enlarge survey with Radion and Lev, which we will again dive in even deeper to immigrants. Another is employers. What employers want? It's totally different study when I try to understand what they want. Do they want us? What they don't want us? We are so amazing. Why they don't? So what we can offer, what we cannot offer. And here, actually, my research assistants are so good in data scraping, because I hired a couple research assistants who are from data analytics, and they did all this data scraping from blogs, posts, LinkedIn, Learning, McKinsey, Forbes, etc. What employers want now. And here we found a lot of data about the future of work. It's a new term, it's a new kind of toy right now in academia, and it comes from practitioners, from Forbes and from McKinsey, and this is what we understood what they want. And of course, I also, every opportunity when I work with employers, I use for interviews, and I asked employers to give feedback for each project we did for them, my students did for them, or my clients did for them, and then their feedback, we provided content analysis.
Excuse me, but understanding what is the geographical scope of your research? Is it only US?
23 countries.
Different countries, okay.
Different countries. I'm physically located right now in Boston, Massachusetts. It's where I work. But my students, Northeastern University, the school I work for, it's the largest private university in the United States. And also, we are #1 in the proportion of international students. So in each of my class, especially MBA classes, I have around 20 countries, each of them. So I have unfair advantage of having database right here, and including a lot of here. And all my ideas I implement in my courses and behind these courses, etc. So 23 countries up to date. And international graduate students, master students, and international undergraduates, just trying to understand what it's doing. And this what epistemology I applied. I am more like interpretivism person, I'm a qual person, even if I did publish several quant papers, but it's not my actually kind of piece of cake. That's why I work with Rodion, because he's a guru in this, and this is what he's in charge for. So that's why interpretivism, it's study 1 and 3, I try to understand what is there without any preset hypothesis, like listening and trying to make sense. But my real drive, and this my second PhD, was for pragmatism. Design thinking is what I am here for. And as you can see here and here, I used these focus groups, and then they designed something what would work for them. So far, so good? Should I continue? And please interrupt me all the time. Please, 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 please. So, defining the scope and puzzle what I tried to do. Obviously, from the even title, on the one hand, it's employability, and on the other hand, it's global talents. Employability in literature defines this one's ability to realize job opportunities within and between employers all the time. Got it. And it's important that it's psychosocial construct. So it's a rational part, but also irrational part. So it's what we have, but also who we are. And the latest 2024 publication that it's a competitive advantage. It's like the most basic one finally came to the surface. The same as businesses develop their competitive advantage, people develop their employability. Same that business have competitive advantage, it hopefully will become revenue, and sometimes it don't, because it's implementation. Same for people. Our job is to look at employability and help people to convert this into money. Some of them choose like, thank you very much, I feel so empowered. Now I know that I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Just like, I respect your choice. So this is all I can. So we work for employability, competitive advantage. And when I did literature analysis, there are 3 different angles to look at the same employability. Human capital theory is the most popular. It's like what we have, our knowledge, skills, attitudes, our possession. Employability, as more you have, as, by the way, I can send it to you. As more we have, yes, please, yes, yes, I forgot about this. Human capital theory, as more advanced knowledge we have, as stronger my diploma, as more knowledge I have, as more certification I have, as better I am employable, right? This is the most popular one. I love job market signaling. It's like, okay, you have, we all 3 graduate from more or less similar colleges, or maybe not even from similar colleges, but you are much stronger in signaling your value for the market. And this is a theory which about sending the message, especially when it's not clear who you are. It's like in the context of uncertainty, when employers cannot test everything. They have no idea what is your Belarus State University and how it's different from Minsk Institute for Entrepreneurship. We know that this is like Ohoa and this is like but they don't. And this is where we send this message. And the last stream of research, identity-focused theories. Okay, so this is what employability. Then we call who are global talents. And this is how defined to the concept of boutique employability. For boutique employability, I looked like, okay, professional identity, what is this? It's our personal capital, what we possess. It's like how clear I am and how powerful I am in the message who I am for the market. When I come for interview or even like elevator pitch, when somebody asks like, what do you do? And we usually said like, oh, well, I'm doing this, and but also I can do this and that. It's a low level of personal capital. And here we have crisp message, but this message which not just crispy, but also very mature, confident, and related to what they want to hear. Kind of like, it's a kind of message between me and them. And this is a concept of professional identity, and we have to define this. Human capital, of course, it's about our social capital, our connections, our soft skills, and our professional capitals, our hard skills and our experience. We can show I have 10 years here, 5 years here, diploma from here. Like I always start with like I have one PhD, another PhD, and it's, you know, I set the stage immediately as a professional, as my human capital. I kind of say like I have so much human capital because I have 2 PhDs. And it's a sending message, right? Professional. But the last one, it's a market signal, it's impression capital, which very much close related to this one, but this is what we want to say, and this is how we say this. So when we look at all three, we found that how employability is differentiation, right, on the market. And now we have future of work, which keeps telling that it's no chance to be the best one. Because every year, my Northeastern, like, do you know how much students pay for Northeastern? Undergrad, international students pay $75,000 a year, each year. So they graduate and they hope to have return on their investment. Guess what? Boston College and Boston University is the same. And we have MIT, and we have Harvard, even more. So how to differentiate if you have your diploma in finance, or diploma in art, or movie maker? You're amazing, but there are so many amazing ones. So what is now, we come to the idea of multi-potentialites. It's a quite famous right now concept. However, multi-potential, it's confusing. It's very low in personal capital, right? Because it's kind of like I am here, and I'm also here. I'm an IT person, but I also kind of like I love marketing, and I'm in a guitar playing, you know, like, and it's like, who I am, you know who you are. So if we combine them and find the center, this is the boutique employability, because it makes us unique. Where one of these areas might be our background. Being from Belarus, it's a huge competitive advantage. It's only one of them. It means nothing if you don't combine with something else. But if we combine them, it helps us. Does it make sense? So we define all this conceptual part, and now we come to our global talent.
Excuse me, one more question, and regarding those part. Can we measure somehow impression capital and personal capital? Do you have any tools for measuring them?
Impression capital, it's all, both of them, we are working on this. There are literature on each of them. It's in psychology, especially for impression capital. There are 5 strategies for impression capital. Mostly it's like how I affected your impression. So it's like I might be amazing, I might think about myself amazing, but if you don't think that I'm amazing, I failed. So it's mostly in perception management. And here it's rubrics, like clarity, maturity, etc., etc. Yes, we can measure this, and there is literature on this. So then we look, who are our global talents? And we see, of course, it's a graduate, also immigrants, and my focus only on skilled immigrants. And also people who are local, might be American, might be Lithuanian, might be whoever. They did not move from one country to another, but they want to position themselves as a global players, global actors. So these are 3 groups. And when I look at them, and it was my first kind of aha moment, they all have multi-dimensional profile. If they want this or they don't want, they're already boutique, because they adapted and succeeded in minimum of 2 countries. They did it once, and they did it once. And they're very motivated and brave. It's much easier to stay in your country, even if depression, even if etc. It's still kind of, you can go beneath, you know, kind of like radar, and you can survive there. But they are motivated and brave. If you look at social capital, they have network back home, and they already established a network here. They communicated one language and another language. They kind of like, they understand cultural here and here. Professional capital, they also know how things could be done differently. For instance, my example for America, which I believe health system works horrible, and transportation, public transportation is horrible, etc., etc. Just like, I know how to do it differently. Ask me. So this is what we can contribute. And impression capital, yes, we are multilingual. We speak here in English, but we all can speak in a different language. And like when we were driving, people communicated in Lithuanian, and just like, how good to be like in 3 languages. Because I have no idea what they spoke about, right? 3 small languages is more impression capital is stronger. But we also are savvy what others are not, right? It seems to be that we are, it's pictures from the Blue Ocean Strategy, we are here, right? It seems that if we look here, everybody who are one-dimensional, and we are here, it's so much better, right? So it seems like we are supposed to have very strong competitive advantage. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, no. Yes, but employers for some reason don't buy us easier than buy locals. And this is the puzzle I want to show. So this is a kind of foundation of my research, kind of what exactly who I study, like employability in global talents, and for employers' perspective, the future of work, which is a new term developed in 2023-24 after COVID, after, of course, artificial intelligence and generational shift from millennials to Gen Z. And so these are kind of my scope. Any questions? Thank you for questions. Please keep asking. Then I feel that it's kind of like we are talking. Any questions? What agree, disagree?
How should you choose one sphere from another? Because in modern times it's a little bit difficult to choose your sphere, because you're
personal capital.
I'm an architect, a project manager,
yeah.
product manager, and as, when you're working on your project, I don't know, you're doing everything.
Yeah.
And
absolutely, and that's why it's a number 1. It's a personal capital. And the answer, if it's very short answer, very longer answer, please join my program right now, it's free. So I will just, whoever is here, so personal capital, I have a special course for this, and at least you can do assessment. It's, anyway, talk to me. But short answer is, don't stick with one of them, because if you choose one architect, there are so many architects. If you choose another one, there are so many of them as well. Any you choose one would be. But actually the picture of 3 guys, it was from real case, which I worked, and David, his name was David, is David, and his bachelor degree was in finance. He was also professional kickboxing, and professional level kickboxer, and also he and his wife started brewery in his own garage and started to get awards. So who he is, and he was good in all 3. So as a finance, he works for insurance company. As a kickboxer, he kind of was thinking about buying a part of gym, and yes, brewery. At the end, he was exhausted, and he didn't have enough time for each of them, and he could become good in each of them. So if he would be baby boomer, he would say, this is your job, and this is your hobby. Don't mess up. And this is like, can wait for your retirement. But he's a millennial. Millennials hate it. So he was thinking, we together were thinking how to combine them and who find this middle part. And then it makes you special. Mm-hmm. Okay?
And what did you find?
He did buy this. First, he started that particular case of David. His step number 1, he offered in his insurance company, he worked for a large insurance company, to do special insurance for active sport gyms with a high level of risk. And he already combined 2. And then he also worked with health insurance, that if it would be brewery but not alcoholic, like kombucha, etc., that it might be kind of like a combination of insurance. So if you are healthy but you are in this sport, this is insurance you are buying. Yeah, this was for his first 5 years, and then he bought his own gym. Right now he is owner of the gym. He has all insurance set up, and they do have their own bar, not alcoholic brewers. So this is like, again, it makes his unique. So, but this is step number one. So the first question, why? Why they don't want us? Why? We are so amazing, right? I just showed you like how amazing we are. So it was my study number one, working with migrants. I found the first challenge, it's exactly, what is the name? Maria.
Yeah.
Maria. So, challenge of unclear identity. Yeah, so who I am, / personality not good. Multi-potentialites, it exists, but it's confusing. So who we are, and especially if we move from one area to another. I know that I was very good in Belarus in 1, 2, 3. Am I good in the same in Boston? And by the way, I lived in Alaska for 8 years. It's in another country. You know, Alaska, it's just totally different. Like, do I do the same from Belarus in Alaska? Okay, then I succeeded in Alaska, and I moved to Boston. Do I, like, does it work or not? So it's unclear. And this is the challenge, the first challenge. Second challenge, it's social. When we move to another country, we lack connections. And which we used to have. My mom had friends, my dad had friends, I was friends, amazing. But in you, my parents are not here, their connections, my connections are gone, and this is a problem. And we also not perceived as one of us. Like if you are in Lithuania, I don't know how it's here, but in America, you kind of like, America actually is the best because it's a melting pot. But in Alaska, I was the only speaking with accent in my university, the one. So I was different. I was like this. Then professional, challenge of limited local experience. And even if each of us, we know that we were amazing in our previous experience, but how do we prove this? When I look at my amazing resume, I realize that I have nothing to show in a new environment because it's meaningless for them. And the last is the challenge of confidence in message delivery. Because accent. Then my study number 2, I asked employers. I work with Amazon Bound, Amazon. So it's a company which actually hired people for Amazon. And I asked the owner, like, Nick, tell me what they want. Who Amazon hires? Amazon, Google, who they hire? And he said, like, we are so proud with functional skills, like human capital, right? But they actually want culture fit. This is more important. They just say, like, it's okay, we will teach you. But culture fit is more important. Second, then less...
Could you explain what is culture fit, please?
If, you know, like when people feel that you are like them, you dress like them, you joke like them, you go for drink after this, or maybe we don't drink. I don't know. For these organizations, they have their own corporate culture. And this is a corporate culture, part of this state and part of this country. You know, it's a kind of like this. So culture fit to this, kind of being one of them. And focus on output. Diplomas are important just as the entry point, but output, provide outputs, KPIs constantly. Again, output, short term and long term. Be authentic, be yourself and be humble. Be kind of brave, but don't push yourself a lot, which sometimes is a problem for, again, newcomers because they don't know how to do. Self-service, so don't ask many questions. Like, oh, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do this. Self-service, be low-maintenance person. This is what they want. Be honest, direct, and look at the crisp communication. So, if you disagree, say you disagree. Push back, but at the same, like, look at push back, honest, but authentic and humble, just like interesting. How are you going to combine this? Data, proofs. It's okay to be wrong as long as you use data and you show this and you learn from this. Ask bold question and ask for help, but again, do be self-service. You see how many contradictions here. And show passion. This is what Amazon wants. This is what many companies. So when I combine them, I look at this and I just put, and I will show next slide will be better seen, that actually we can put all of them into the same 4 categories: personal capital, professional, social, and impression. And now we have the first aha moment. Why? Because this is what international graduates or any immigrants, I just talked about this, right? This is our challenges. And this is what employers want. In each of them we have gap. Here, challenge of identity. Here, social. We kind of like, okay, we are culture, but we are different. We are not yet have references, and we have still learning how rules of the game, how this organization operates. And professional, we just really don't have proofs. We know everything what they want us to know. We do. We are smart. We are educated. But they need proof that they trust. And do they trust the proof from Belarus? I'm not sure. I don't know. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They want local proof. And again, the challenge of confidence, it's how to deliver message. So this was my first aha message from my why it happens. Any questions about this? Because then I move, okay, for the questions like what worked? How to fill this gap? And this was my second kind of like brain, as I said, pragmatism is who I am more and more, and like what worked. And I started with the subject of me, because it was easy available. It's 2003, and it's my family, and it's our first car. We just bought this 0 down, and we moved. So my 6-year-old baby girl, happy with everything. She was happy like whatever. Mom here, dad here, I'm happy. My son, who was unhappy with everything because he left his friends here and he just like, what am I doing here? Like after the first 2 weeks of like, oh, America, cool. Week number 3, he said like, I'm done. So my husband, nuclear physicist, like not employable because you need a clearance to be nuclear physicist. And we had green card. We just won this by lottery. And it was me. I was ready to be anything, everything. Honestly, for my family, I was like, tell me what I want to be and I will be. So and now, yes, I did, I made it, and you know who I am, and this is a part of my very cool university. So I asked myself what worked for me, what I did without really knowing what I was doing. I just did this and how it came. So how? So yes, it's all my challenge of identity, and I already answered, so I ask myself, industry, do I am pedagogy because my undergrad in education, my management is a grad school, and doctorate in psychology, density, am I Russian, and I'm a Ukrainian, I'm Belarusian, by the way, I have a little bit Jewish, maybe I should play this card, or maybe I'm American, I don't know who I am. Experts. Am I expert in Belarus? To tell the truth, they're not interested. Emerging economy, there are so many, especially from India and China, who are experts in emerging economy. It's very hard to get to this market. Then I just said, okay, I'm an expert in state-controlled economy. State-controlled economy. Again, it's not so much market for this. At least it gave me my second PhD. And how can I generalize this? It's all these questions which Marie just asked me. This was absolutely, and this is what I already answered the question. This is what I did. I elucidated my core, and I worked a lot on this, a lot. It took, I even say that this is like an old radio, when you kind of, like noise, but you have some kind of music, but you keep searching, and then finally you have the message. And when it's message clearly, then you got it. So I defined for myself that yes, strategy for psychology. This is exactly how I presented myself, right? Competitiveness of individuals. This is my one PhD, and my another PhD, okay. And especially navigating your competitive advantage in a low trust versus last try environment. When you find this center, this is a bingo. This is my first, it was for me, aha moment. Second, yes, I was a newcomer and it was very, very lonely. You miss people back home, you miss jokes, you watch TV, and it was a big kind of like disagreement between me and my husband because I decided like integrate. And he watched all stuff in Russian speaking TV, yeah. I was reading only English books and he was reading whatever he wanted to read. And what is right, what is wrong? I don't know, but how to become one of us. And I see my students from India, from China, from Latin America, and I live, by the way, in a Latino neighborhood. It's different, right? But how to develop this trust? And then I just needed to be published. I wasn't, you know, I built my career as a faculty member, and I started to write cases just to be published, to tell the truth. And I was shocked then, then when I came to the company, said like, I'm a professor and I am doing this and I want to submit my case for competition, whatever competition I found, would you allow me to tell your story? And they asked me some parameters, some boundaries, of course, and of course I let them know that everything they control in their story. And this is how I develop relationship. I was shocked how easy this relationship were developed with people who I didn't even know, because I came here and I asked here to understand them. And I was really not to teach them how to do the business, but to understand them. And as more I was writing cases, as more I published my cases, as more I understood more reality. When I started to understand one industry, I just started to do case, and by the end of the case, I got it. Then another industry, another country. And this is, for me, was aha moment, how to develop trust. Tell people's story. Tell people's story. Number 3, how to have proof. It's a professional capital and impression capital. Yeah, диплом кандидата наук. What do I do with this, right? So how do I prove? And I found that instead of writing, I have to prove that I can generate value. But they were not ready yet to hire me. I was newcomer. So I solved my own cases. And I published this. And I sent them for free solution of my cases. And they just like, oh, by the way, I have another challenge. Just like, oh, well. So this is how I established myself as expert, and it's really helped to my confidence and to my positioning in the market, that I am capable to generate value. Honestly, I use the knowledge which I generated in IPM. This was the most fruitful time of my life, so I think, capitalizing on this. Because Daneka is a powerhouse, it's absolutely. And impression strategy, I speak with accent, and I will die speak with an accent. I was 36 when I moved. Besides, I don't have music ear, so I am speaking with strong accent. Da. And I wasn't confident sometimes. And now, yes, it's easier because I'm older, and besides, you know, I have kind of position. But I found if we present this knowledge in a specific, very structured way, I found like, wait a minute, that's why tech people are so easy to move from one culture to another, because they speak very structured message. But when you are in economy, in management, in marketing, so I included here that you have to structure your message in a particular way, and we have to teach our immigrants how to structure. So consulting. This is what my study of me, what works. And of course, it worked for me. I shared with everybody, but as a pragmatism and what I wanted to scale this. I wanted to set the place where everybody can do this. And this was my study number 3 and 4. I involved students, mostly students, and right now it's 800 plus within 6 years, and in a different forms. I did every semester many of them. Interviews, of course, focus groups, surveys, content analysis of their own written documents, and action research, my favorite one. So what we found? Actually, BH came from this research. So when I say that BH, I was kind of here, I was kind of like it was here because it worked for me, but they helped me to understand that E plus E, beginning at the end, your core and your voice, they come as a frame at the beginning, at the end. It's different. You focus on you. And you have to start with this. You have to focus on you. Without this, don't do projects. Don't pick up the work because it's still your time. And I have so many pictures I draw on the board, and I shown you, okay, you pick up some project. Okay, you got some money. If you are not desperate, pick money which you have to pick, but think why, how it works for you as a stepping stone. So start always with your who you are, with your personal capital and your impression capital. Professional identity and job signaling is a key. So this is what our first aha moment. And I recently published in Forbes paper about this, by the way. If you want, I can send it to you. But also, when somebody defines who they are and they ask like, well, I see myself as a journalist in TV, in Euronews, etc. But Euronews doesn't know that you are so amazing. Then you need this one, your case. Then you very strategically, you target a specific employer, and you learn through these cases how to connect them, because the idea here is how to synchronize with their strategy. So I also found that this level have more vulnerability and more defense mechanism. This is an easy sell because it's like it's what we do. Does it make sense? So this is my first finding. But I right now positive that all four of them are necessary. The problem what students do, they usually do project and presentation. This is nothing new. We all do project, sometimes for real companies, presentation. But we do not choose, we do not let them understand how this particular project work for you. What is here for me? As in your stepping stone. And second, we do not help them to develop trust with the employer. We kind of like, this is the case, and we do. Look at the hackathon, same idea. They solve the problem, they present the problem. DEE, quite well, nothing new here. The new here is the first E and first D, so they must be first. This is my first aha moment. My second aha moment, that in the process, is what I said, the first is, it's what I just presented, exploring your edge. It must go first. Don't rush here until you're exploring your edge, and clarify your strategy for the new market. And I developed these tools, strategy assessment and strategy course, where you do nothing but thinking about yourself. And when you define this, you go to crafting your edge. After exploring, to crafting your edge. By the way, it's a master students who gave me these amazing names. Exploring your edge, crafting your edge. It's like, oh, Julia, like, your website is confusing, changing this, just like amazing. And I tell them, like, tell me what you would do, what you would tell your friends, and they helped me. So here you synchronize, it's what I just tell, consulting cases, right? It's what I did for myself, and this is what I do already years. This is making your consulting case. This is what my book is about, this is what my article is about. However, I found that it's a little bit too heavy for some people. And I added the easier kind of like faster, especially for undergrads, becoming a case consultant, which is a very short and very kind of, you don't meet yet employer. You do it for yourself and I give you the stories, videos of real employers. And we do this in October, November, but then we do festival, and the best solutions of here we send to employers, to clients. And it's a huge energy boost for students to know that somebody cares. And they meet clients, only finalists. Sorry, I don't know how it works. And also the last one of my students, Emily, she said like, Julia, it's very good, but this is a kind of semester-long project. They're just like, yeah, because you invest in yourself. It's just like, but we are millennials, we like fast stuff, like hackathon. Just like, okay. And together with them, we develop faster stuff. Consultathon, when we work against the clock, it's just 2 weekends. You don't write case, but you kind of like, again, hackathon style, but it's a consultathon because we have E, D, G, E. And the last one, graduates become master in the age. They're kind of after you finish. This is a major part, and this is number 3. They become scheme mentors and coach for this. If we have corporate projects, they become case captain, and they give case master, which means that they are paid. And this is a kind of like serious. And we publish their profiles in our website. Like if you need an expert in this area, this is a person, only for our graduates. Does make sense? But they happily share this. It's finding number 1, these stages. This is which kind of aha moment for me, because I pushed for this, and then just like Ron, I learned how to do it in a different way. And the latest one is 2004. We found, our research this in spring, we found that everybody kind of understands that they need employability, but it's internal dialogue between I should learn how to write resume, I should have clear career goals, I should know new countries, I absolutely should have work experience, I should develop my communication, I should, and I'm like, I should. I'm just like, but what do you want? What would you do? And just like, oh, I would actually, to stay in my comfort zone. Can I be without my, like, I'm from Belarus and I want to be with a group from Belarus. It's just like, I know I have to be with others, but I want to be in my, I don't know what can I do? I don't know what I'm good at. Just tell me, kind of like, I need proof that I'm good. I just want to get different, I would. And when I found this difference in this internal dialogue, and again, it's what in the work with my research assistants I found what to do with this. So here it should be experts, workshop, resources, professional mentors. It's a very kind of traditional. It's what career centers usually do. Good career centers do it better, bad career centers do it worse, but it's actually kind of traditional. But peer groups and reflection of how they're going through this will help this more sustainable. But when we ask, like when we did second round of research and we ask if you have 1, 2, 3 choice, what you would do, they choose making your case action-based project. Because it's not as scary, because you're already in the process, you are scared, but you are doing, and the combination of 3 makes this sustainable. And the last finding is it should be ecosystem. Career centers and everything what we do for people who are facing the new stage sometimes become, how to say, we develop learning disability, kind of like give me. I don't know, I'm so sick, help me, give me, do this. Career center, why you don't give me resources? Why you don't give me the job? Why don't you give me this and that? And learning disability, we know that it's not sustainable. They must feel that they invest instead of receiving service, and they must give and receive. The same as an ecosystem. You give something and you receive something. So these are 4 pillars for system which must work, and they will work.
With the percent message about invest instead of receive? So maybe some example there. Because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
this part.
For instance, if we go to the I should, and I will show how it, give me a second because it will be next slide, okay? Okay. So these are 3 foundings, and we put them in foundation of this. It's based on design thinking, based on the work of stakeholders. Again, yesterday night from my hotel, from this hotel, I did again the speech for next group, and it's engineers, Master of Science in Engineering, Northeastern, they're located in Seattle, and the course in management. I presented, not this without research, but kind of this is the center, what we do. And I asked like, okay, this is ecosystem, how it's going to work? In 3 weeks, I will have results. And this is what, so they will keep giving this, but I tell them, when you do this, think about yourself, think about your friends, think about what you want to do. And this is how it's design thinking work. I have so many projects from London, from Boston, and from London, it's a project how to set this center in Shanghai, by the way, the winner in Shanghai, second in Mumbai. So they choose the place where this center would be the most welcomed. And I like what they do. Let's see. So everything what we just told, I should, I would, I do, right? Personal, social, professional impressions. They all came together, and answering the question how they invest, they actually ensured each of them must give one workshop to everybody and prepare this workshop. However, it's not assignment. They choose a topic. They want to be known an expert in immigrant community or in this. So they choose. For instance, when I ask my Indian students, like what topic you think the most needed, and choose the one, they first the list, they make the list of topics which everybody must know. And then they pick up topic, whatever they believe. The topic of what American sport is and how you talk about this in interview was number 1. Number 2 was dress code. By the way, Brookline is a very fancy town where I used to live. If you look at the street in the summer, regardless of the color of the skin, regardless of anything, all men will have salmon color, kind of orange to salmon, right? So orange / kind of rose color shorts. All of them will have white, expensive shorts, and all have the same shoes, all of them, because this is a kind of sign of how to be one of us. You know, like it's funny almost, but it's one of the topics. Second, how to invest. They must choose. They must take ownership for the project they do. We give the choices, but we say like, no. For becoming a case consultant, which is just a training lab, which is a cheaper, faster, etc., I give them the options which I have, but they still have to choose 3 of them, any 3, but prove what they want. Second, making your consulting case, I say like, go and find your employer. Yeah. So they kind of like, me? And you don't give it to me? I go, no, I don't have resources. You go and find the employer. And they make list, and my book explains exactly what they should do. They make a list of 10 potential employers. I say that we don't promise that they employ you, and they most likely not employ you immediately, but they give you recommendation letters and they give you contacts, and this is the investment. And I have so many stories that I can tell. Like for instance, Sydney, she was graduating from master in health administration, master in health administration. And her last semester, she needed some kind of capstone project, and she wanted this to be meaningful. And so she sent like 30 different emails to 30 different companies asking for internship. She didn't receive even 1 reply. Then I tell her, Step number 1, read my book. So she started to do like book by book, chapter by chapter, and then she made the list, and then company Go Inva come to the top of her list. And she said, using template, just like, I am Sydney Formica, comma, I am driven, I'm passionate about blah, 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 blah. I know the most what I see about your company is the value you deliver. So she made this list, she sent this to the owner. 30 minutes. She's just like, she called me like, Julia, it worked. He's okay to talk with me, because she didn't ask for any time. She asked like, may I please tell your story? May I please learn, like writing the consulting case about your company, and you will have full control over the result. And he just like, sure, duh, free stuff, Northeastern, why not? So this is what, and as you see, so here you see like very specific actions. So it becomes very structured way from day 1 to day 3, today the last. For these activities and for undergrad, this is, I explain each of them. Step number 1, you see what this I don't know, I didn't touch anything. The host finished this meeting. Okay, so it's okay, I already showed the most slides, and the idea is that I took this time to explain every stage very specifically. For master students, it's 1 year. They start in August, it's the recruitment, and again, everybody who are right now, they help with recruitment. It's not me, it's recruitment. And the recruitment, actually, people must prove that, are you ready for boutique employability? Is boutique employability for you? If you just give me placement, it's 10 times more expensive. But if you want to invest, like Sigmund Freud, when they see that somebody enjoyed coming to psychoanalyst and without becoming healthier, he just raised the price 10 times. People kind of started to be more responsible. So this is number 1. I don't know, just we should do my maybe PowerPoint, then it would be, not PowerPoint, but Zoom, because my Zoom never expired. Does make sense? And so now you can see, by the way, so this is this is number 1, and it's, let's say, for master students or for adults, because I'm working right now with Asian American in Boston. If they're adults, if they already have bachelor degree, then it's a 1-year program. September, October, they work on their own focus. Then they start October, November, they do different small groups for IWood, different knowledge more for social, and they work for becoming a case consultant. And these are examples, what we have right now. And we have portfolio for marketing, for project management, and for, I have to ask, but we go from each organization. It's not, yeah, it's not. But again, good question. So this is then making your consulting case. It's a spring semester. They do the whole semester their own consulting case, and this is what I show. And after this, we do competition, and they become famous. And in June, we do consultathon, which is fun, and it's impact. We find the company which needs them most, and graduation. It's big bus, it will be graduation, and we are starting doing this right now, and this for undergrad. For undergrad, it's 2 years, and it's longer. The same stuff, but it's longer, a little bit less, kind of, because they have to learn this. And for undergrads, we offer this 3rd year and 4th year, after 2 years at least, when they have something to offer. So, and this is what we have from international students from just immigrant or international students, which means not much, to global talents. That's it. So your questions. I have so many stories. Yeah. I just want like I see that 3 p.m. So I just wanted to give all overview of research, but I have stories about each of this and many of them. Yeah.
So Julia, thank you so much for a super interesting presentation. Well, I have two group of questions for you, like boutique employability consultant, and another question for you, like a professor at the university. So the first question is, so how do you see the integration of artificial intelligence enhancing the services of boutique employability firms? And what specific may you name AI tools, technology you believe are the most effective in personalizing the career development or to improve job placement outcomes?
First of all, future of work, right? So I kind of like, I position this as a for future of work. And future of work, artificial intelligence is number two after COVID. You know, COVID will become number three very soon, but we still kind of, COVID already made the changes which we cannot forget, because people learn that working from home, actually it's kind of cool. And organization learn that like having you working from home, it's kind of good. You know, like, and now it's still learning how to do this, which totally changed the market. So, but artificial is number two. Just an example, answering like very directly to your question, I don't know. It's not my area of expertise. However, we applied for the grant recently, and faculty from another college asked like, and parameters of that grant that it must be representatives from two different colleges. I'm a business college and she's from a different college, and somebody introduced us to each other and just like, Yvonne, shall we do this? And it's just like, sure. And just like, what are you good at? And it's just like, I'm artificial intelligence. Like, oh, let's do something. So we are working on grant proposal where she believes that artificial intelligence like this ChatGPT may give you who you are, answering the question of like your different parameters, and using kind of uses as it's still your choice. You like it or you don't like it, but you still have something to start with. So we can help. Artificial intelligence, it's still a tool, but amazing tool. We can help this to understand who you are. Second, for case writing, like look at this for becoming a case consultant. We give students made video cases, real companies, real challenges, all structured, of course. And they are training before they come to real clients. They kind of feel, what I do, how I do this. So then, just for fun, again, in one of it was marketing class in MBA, very smart people, I asked a professor to ask them, how do we craft Center for Global Talents. And I asked them user experience. So this is how I found, and I asked them, associate yourself with whatever user, and give me what center must be, how the center must be crafted for this user. So I have right now 8 ideas. One of them was the case writers, and they artificial intelligence professionals. And this is like, we can make cases for you. Whatever cases, like it's so easy. And we just can train ChatGPT, exactly. So we can train this and it would be real stories, etc., etc. Just like sounds amazing. But then we are still in the drive of that after this, we are sending these ideas to the real client. So it's a good training. It's like going to gym. It's good to go like, to sweat in the corner and kind of without worrying like how clumsy I am. But if you want to be, selected for the team, you have to go to the coach or recruiter. So so many opportunities, yeah. And right now, as a professor, I must integrate artificial intelligence to my classes, because if I don't, students will. So I have even assignments for students, write ChatGPT, what they think about this market, and what do you agree and disagree. And now write yours, which is different than what ChatGPT did it for you. So they kind of like, oh God, yeah.
And I had this second question for you as a leader in academic education.
Mm-hmm.
So, we see that in the rapidly evolving job markets, when there is emphasis on skills and experience, how do you think the formal diploma is necessary? And next question, how universities, or how is your university adapting its programs for these needs of industry demand?
Diplomas become, as you see, what employers want. Diplomas become entry point. You just like, you have to open the door.
No, not all IT companies.
No, it's not you. It's not what we said to students.
Yeah.
You have a good diploma and it's entry door. That's it. That's it. So if you don't have this high education, you don't even invite it to this door. So now you at least can go to the door, but it's a crowd. So now you have to distinguish yourself, and now we come to employability. Actually, my university is the one who, and I was just lucky to be here, distinguished as our competitive advantage as employability. 20 years ago, our university was lower than 200 in ranking. Now it's top 40, the last one. So we just like, we are growing like crazy, and in ranking, including ranking. And because right now, based on New York University ranking, and Financial Times also do very, very important ranking, employability of students become one of the parts of ranking. So what my university does, we do previous generation, we have co-op system. Like when I teach strategy class, which is a capstone class for undergrad, at the beginning of the class, which is the last semester, spring semester, I ask how many of you already have a job? 50%. They even are students, they already have a job because they have experience of co-op program. My daughter, who graduated from my college, tuition waiver, yeah, I didn't pay this money, yeah. But she went through all this. When she was a student in the second maybe year, they already have 6 months in both, working in this level. Then for the second time, she decided to capitalize on her identity, multi-dimensional identity, and she requested me, helping her to find the job in Eastern Europe. And I used my strengths, and she worked in Kyiv, developing her Russian, where she met her sweetheart, American. Yeah. But then she came back, and for her thought, and it was a different area. The first was supply chain something. Second was management information system software, and the last one was supply chain but purchasing management. Again in both. After she worked 6 months and 6 months, both offered her a job right after graduation. So this is what we do, but it's more traditional approach. Now it's a gig economy. Now we don't have this time, 6 months. And besides, my university put enormous resources to this, to find this work for students. And companies are not really, they kind of prefer local because they don't want to deal with visa. But this is what we, even in my university, consider as the next generation. It's like career centers 4.0. Did I answer your question?
Yes. I just one little comment actually. In February, I was in the conference, where the deans of the business school gather. So it's AFMD conference. And on the stage were honorable deans and one lady. So she's the CEO of the company that provides education, IT education, but no official diploma. And she has a thousand it's a filter from the beginning. She doesn't have a filter, but then yes. And her statement was that there is no need of official diplomas, so she can provide education and necessary skills and experience while finishing her courses. They are graduates with no problem will fit to the market, to the IT companies. And there was negotiation, but yeah.
It's an old idea, but still the market resists very much because they need some kind of quality control. So I guess it's always like two streams coming to something like here, like this. IPAM is doing the program in Yugu. So practitioners teach, but through in partnership with universities. My university, we required every of our class we do projects. This project or that project. Of course, all my classes are consulting cases. So like they sign for this. That's why I have 40 students in every single class, unfortunately. I mean, yes or no, so I'm kind of popular because they have this real project, which part of their course to write in the short reels and post this in LinkedIn, how experienced it was for working for real companies. And these students, undergrads, they're just like, I am just 19 and I did real projects for a company which is trying to do this and that. And this is a part of their grade. They have to post this. And I said, like, be smart. Put like, thank you at Julia Ivy, thank you, Dermoma Kim School of Business, thank you, the company. And we, of course, we all will say like, oh, great job, etc. So I teach them, and this is a part of my course. Other professors do other stuff, but experiential learning is the way to combine them. Another, Lancaster University in UK is where my PhD is. And I'm very much close related in Lancaster. They have alternative credential, and now it's very popular. So your experience, you just pass exam, and they count this as your undergrad courses. So there are many badges, alternative credential, microcredit. It's like all here. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
I still have in my mind the sort of regarding my first question regarding the geographical location. So the question itself, to which extent do you think your solutions are homogeneous among the countries? For instance, as I understand, you mainly think about employability taking in mind US.
In developed economies,
Will it be applicable, for instance, to Germany, to France, to Italy?
I don't know. Let's do research. And by the way, why I am doing this presentation? Because I hope that we will all do this research. We are doing with Radion study about immigrants from Ukraine and Belarus in Poland versus Lithuania, and we'll see how it works. So as you see, all I do, it's emergent kind of approach. So I try it and I see. What I did, I asked my students who are from those countries, and I asked like, you guys, you choose a country where you believe this idea would work best. This is what I did that semester, and I had 4 groups. Again, I'm not their professor because I cannot use my own students for my own reason. This is other professors, and I was a client for them. And so like, this is a client, I'm a client. And I asked like, you choose a country, each team. And I had 2 for China. What surprised me, it's not like Chinese students are very much looking for work in the United States. No, it's how to create their employability in China, and they actually work for internationals in China. And I asked like are many internationals in China? Just like, oh, especially from post-Soviet Union. It's like, oh, good to know, which I didn't know, but it's different. Like Shanghai, it's a very good place to be. India also, my Indian students, I was surprised. I thought that everybody like dying to be in the United States. Some of them are, some of them not. But they want to use this to connect with, when they finish their school, they be ahead of the crowd. This is a goal. Ahead, standout employability. Standout employability to be the best, boutique employability to be special. Like, like не шир потреб, а int пошив, да? То есть int пошив, yeah. So tailor it for the company.
From another side, from the side of this, when you say about the US market, to which extent Europe, Western Europe,
of course not. Contextualization is a big deal in the research. So, of course not. Generalization versus contextualization. Contextualization, this is what we must do research. This is what our pilot research actually, I found, I didn't expect to kind of, was my aha moment about Belarusians in Poland. I was kind of like, what? And it's the strategy of kind of active waiting, and not maybe sometimes active, but waiting. And it's just a pilot. It might be totally not the topic. So we will find our research, then we will know, and we will see. But, you know, I have a skewed respondents. I understand that Northeastern, it's a very top of top. Our students are not lazy. Our students understand that, yes, you are rich and powerful, she's also rich and powerful, she's also rich and powerful. When students do their project, I kind of and I ask group of 5, do you have a company who agree to be your clients? And they just yes, do. So what is your area? They just hospitality and restaurant business. This is where they want to develop. It's okay, I put them in groups based on their personal strategy. So they do personal strategy, then I put them in groups. Your group is hospitality and restaurant. Your group is finance and something. Your group is art, innovation, design, kind of like this, kind of like boho kind of style. Okay, perfect. Find your company. And this is what they have to find. So hospitality and restaurant, it's one class. They found new hotel in Bay, how it's called, in Vietnam, Bay. So it's a very, very, very fancy area for the tourism. And I asked how do you have clients there? And it's just it's my family business. Just good, everybody happy. And they were very so devoted to do this project because each of them, and I had a student from Romania in that group, I had a student from Russia in that group, and each of them enjoyed this. Another one, finance, again, they did some contacts. Sometimes it's a cold call, sometimes they have contacts, just call, ask. They call and ask. And for my art students, they decided to reach, it's actually in my book, it's this case, it's Lilliput. The name of the small jazz cafe, which is a community-based jazz performance venue. And so they ask what the challenge these companies have. They just came from scratch. They just came to the owner and asked we want to work with your challenge. We are students of Northeastern, we are doing consulting case, and our professor, will help. The owner said duh, we do have. How are we doing well? Because they're very much community-based and art. They have all art everywhere, they have jazz, they have venue, etc. How we make profit. And this is what students work with them. And each of them claim this as their own portfolio. Okay, so I think we are doing this already. Olga, you're a boss. I can talk about this non-stop because I have so many examples.
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, I can tell you stories. I can do. Please ask questions.
Our call is until 4, but I hope that you want to have some coffee, so
I'm
think
good.
15 minutes.
And then drink. Okay. So any questions in any language? If you feel more comfortable speaking Russian, speak Russian, not Lithuanian, please. English or Russian. So yes, so master degree it's 1 year. For bachelor, who are still in bachelor education, they're still students, then 2 years. But this is the beginning, and then they become our alums because it's an ecosystem, it's working. For masters, many master programs, it's 1 year master program. So I just use these, parameters because MBA usually 2+. But specialized master program, for instance, I was a director of master in international management or master in other masters. They're usually 1 year, so I said 1 year, okay. But for, we just work right now with association, Asian American Association. And they talk like, can we do it kind of like 2 years, even for people who are here? Just like, sure, let's think about this. So it's adaptable for the particular context. So the question, is it like written on stone and everybody must march? No. It must be logic, E, D, G, E, definitely. But how long and how short, you know, if people work like crazy and having 5 children, you know, like, as long as they move from one to another and they stop after each of them, the deliverables after each of them, they cannot move to the next one until they submit their deliverables in their peer group. You know, they just like being members and just show up sometimes, it doesn't work. They have to, that's why peer accountability. This wood, it's like peer groups. And peer groups have their own competition, who will be like best understanding local market or something like this. So we have like very structured. Mm-hmm.
If you're applying to a junior.
This is internship. This is a new way of internship. The traditional way of internship, it's a short, you know, when I talked with my, you know, leading team of university, they called this short-term executive-based internship. So it's internship, but first of all, it doesn't have to be away from you. You can keep doing your study and doing the project, and this is your experience. The short answer, volunteer, because this is what they volunteer. You know, I tell them, if you invest, if you want to get a job right after the college or just having this college and immediately got a job, you know, you invest here, you have here. You invest here, you have here. Same investment. You just invest in your different capitals. So, volunteer. Go to organization and ask for the project where your skills would be meaningful. And then put this to your resume. And that's why our last project, Consultathon, we choose impact consultathon. We choose companies which are vulnerable, which maybe you don't need for your employment. You're not going to work there, but this is what you are going to work in resume. This is what you are going to chat with your coworkers. This is what you would be proud of. Last year we had 3 companies. One is a veteran-based marketplace. They wanted to understand how to navigate their profit, kind of like what the product should be, what should not be. And it was very much art-related and PTSD related, because she provided, her suppliers were only veterans from their families. And she tried to sell whatever they did. And sometimes they did like good job, sometimes not good job. And so this is what she kind of tried to understand. The second business was urban farm. We grow microgreens. And they also were very driven what they do. It's extremely everything organic. And it's also question was about portfolio. And the last one, who was the last one? Organization which market a new market. So it's Somalian in America organization, established very well in one state, in Maine, and they wanted to enter a new market as organization for immigrants. And everybody who were in my consultathon, they had to choose one and say why, how it, not why, but how it works for my career aspiration, how I'm going to use it. And they wrote this speech, option 1, option 2, and then I put them in the groups based on what they wanted. This is about ownership, and this is about using this. And one of the students was from Ukraine. For Ukrainians, I do it for free. And he participated, and he chose this veteran, and I asked, like, why, Ivan, why? And he said, because we have so many veterans we will have so many veterans in Ukraine, and this kind of business is what I want to understand. And this is part of his portfolio. And he's still a student. Okay, so thank you so much. Any more questions? Question? No?
I have one.
Yes, please.
About your approach. Did I understand it right that when you're talking about personal capital and impression capital, you're talking more about the building of the personal brand, of maybe personal project, personal startup, not just finding job, not
Yeah.
just getting job. And I thought about it. Okay, I have found out that I'm an architect in the sphere of reconstruction of Soviet buildings, for example. And then I saw the list of vacancies in the job market, and there is no vacancy for me. And what should I do?
You go to the second stage, D&G, and you think where you want to work and what you want value you can offer this company, and you knock to the door and ask, may I please do consulting case? I'm so driven with this idea. Again, Sydney, the one who is health science, in her first stage, she realized that she wants to combine health, because her undergrad was pre-med, plus design. It was just her certificate in web design. And number 3, people with vision disabilities. And this was her personal story, her family, etc. So her degree, her this, and she found that she wants to work for the companies which develop all these platforms, websites or something for people, very, very friendly for people with disabilities. So she contacted this Go Inva, and she said to him, I love what you are doing, etc. And I am driven how to develop da-da-da. And he said like, wow, yeah, this is how you do this.
Thank you.
Julie, could you tell a bit more about the role of the university, I mean reputation and the name of university, or any special services for students that provide them opportunity to find a place for internship?
Of course, my university is the strongest one, because it's our competitive advantage. But that's why my program for my university is, they are going to use it because I work there. However, most of them, so my university put enormous amount of resources for this. We have like 100 people working only for developing relationship with employers.
It's like a career development center.
It's different from it's a co-op people. It's like the huge system which work for this. Most of universities just don't have these resources. So that's why if the university is as good in this, maybe they don't need this. But most of universities do need desperately just because they don't have resources. Because this is easy integrate to, as a student center, as a club, as a part of the curriculum, it's all integratable. When I was the director of Master International Management, I just used my unfair advantage to be a director, and we did a program redesign, and we invested this into part of the program. So I see that everybody checking their phones, so it means that we have to stop this program. So thank you very much for being here. I hope I answered all the questions. If you want to if you want to develop your research in this area, please tell us. And because especially contextualization, especially for this or that country, this is where right now research is going. Like it's not trying to find one idea for everybody. It's everybody understands that it's wrong. Even Porter doesn't work here and work here. So everybody understands that contextualization is where research now, and we should do this. And we must learn. Actually now reverse innovation is what the science is. Reverse innovation is learning from other countries and bringing them to the places like America, England, which used to be the center of the knowledge. Now it's not anymore. It's not anymore, so it's here. Okay, thank you very much, and see you. So did you make my picture?